Hi, in this session we will discuss regarding the changes made by the IASB in respect of the conceptual framework, chapter 3. Just go through the playlist on the YouTube for understanding all the areas of changes that are made in the conceptual framework. So let's begin our journey on session 3. The first thing, chapter 3 describes financial statements and reporting entity. It was a new introduction in the conceptual framework. There's no definition of what do you mean by reporting entity. And they gave a brief idea about financial statements. I know it's been covered by IAS 1, but IAS 1 also derives from the conceptual framework. So in some conceptual framework, they do recognize some of the reports to be as financial statement. We'll go through it in detail. And one thing I just want to clarify that from chapter 3 onwards, it only deals with financial statements rather than dealing with any kind of accounting conventions or concepts or any kind of other disclosures. So from chapter 3 onwards, it only deals with the financial statements. Now let's move on. And what do you mean by financial statements? So financial statement, as per the new revised conceptual framework, are any particular form of financial reports, which may provide information regarding the assets, liability, equity, income, and the expenses. So in a nutshell, it provided guidance on what we can call it financial statements. Basically, it covers all the elements of financial statements because assets, liabilities, equity, income, and the expenses are primarily we call it as elements of the financial statements. So any report which provides this information are called as financial statements. And we may be having a defined level of financial statement based on the standard like IAS 1. So it provides a definition of what we can say as financial statements. Also, the consolidated, unconsolidated, and the combined financial statement are also acknowledged as a form of financial statements in the revised conceptual framework. So this is a very common sense, nothing new in that. But they do have introduced a concept of financial statement just for the sake. The second is the reporting entity. Now, this is very crucial. The board acknowledges that it does not have any authority to determine who and must provide financial statement or prepare a financial statement because it's the regulation, it's the regulator specifies or any act specifies who are required to prepare the financial statements. The board only specify how to prepare it and how we can record it in the financial statement rather than imposing burden on the people that you need to prepare it, you need to prepare it. No, they will specify how you can prepare it. However however in the conceptual framework, they do provide a definition of a reporting entity, to whom we can call it as a reporting entity. So, a reporting entity means any entity that chooses or is required to, by law or by any other requirements, to prepare financial statements. And it may not be necessarily a legal entity. It can be a portion of the entity. It can be any division, it can be a branch. It does not have to have a legal substance. So, a reporting entity means anyone, any space or any department or any establishment may or may not have a legal existence who is required or is preparing financial statement are called reporting entity. So this is chapter 3 in nutshell. So only two areas that they have introduced. What do you mean by financial statements in a report that covers the elements of the financial statements and the reporting entity, the concept of the reporting entity, to whom we call it as reporting entity.